we make the grandest of plans. And somewhere between making that plan and actually implementing that plan, sometimes things get a little screwy. And you realize that what you really wanted to say is not what you get to say at all. And that's okay. That's okay. You get to flow with it. I want to talk to you about your persona. I know you all are showing up. I can see you everywhere. I can see you on Facebook. I can see you on LinkedIn. I can see you on YouTube and your website, and it's beautiful and it's marvelous. And I can see your face on our Zoom calls. I realize that it's just this tiny little Vogue rectangle. But how are you actually showing up? And how has that shifted, or has it? I mean, there's a lot of people who are like, no, everything since the pandemic, it's completely different. I had all these massive plans. I had things I was going to launch. I had things I was going to do. And the pandemic has just put a hold on everything. I get that and I weep for that. That is unfortunate. That's, I understand, I can empathize with that feeling of I had these things I wanted to do. I have these launches I want to have. I know there's people out there I need to connect with. I know there's impact that to be made. And I understand the frustration of all of that being so close, so almost there you can taste it, and having it just abruptly, like there was no slowing down. It was just boom, the world closed, right? That's been months ago. So what have you done? What's been going on in the last 6 months, and how have you allowed your persona and your brand to evolve with you? Because I will guarantee you are not the same person that you were in March. In a normal 5 to 6 month period, we grow, we change, we evolve. And sometimes we let our brand catch up and sometimes we don't. This has not been a normal last 5 or 6 months. This has been uncertain. This has been unprecedented, at least in my lifetime. This has been very unique. And it is a rare opportunity that we have had to look through our brands and see exactly what is showing up, how much of it is showing up. Is our slip showing? Is there a run in our persona stocking? How much are we actually letting people see us and get to know us? Every single time I have a conversation with a client, a potential client in my group, even random networking events, what I hear is, I want to connect with people. Great. How are you doing that? Is your persona coming through so strong in your brand that you truly are becoming connected with them? Or is it this business is great, everything's fine, here's my business card, let's make sure we're friends, let's make sure we're connected, and that's as far as it goes? Because if you are not allowing your persona, your true, most authentic, greatest, most fabulous self, if that is not coming through in your brand, you are not truly connecting with anyone. You are not truly making an impact that you so desperately want to make, that you are destined to make. If your persona is being muted, if it is a facade, if it is faced by a lot of beautiful poetic words, and your personality isn't coming through, if your actual persona isn't shining and isn't being turned up to 11, those connections are as flat as your screen. So, how is your persona actually showing up? And how was it showing up 3 months ago, 6 months ago, compared to what it is now? There is like I said, this is a really great opportunity for you to truly connect, truly build relationships, because one of the problems I've seen is that we think we're connecting because we're speaking, we're talking, we're using the right words, we have identified our ideal client and we are speaking to them. But without that persona to back it, there there is a disconnect, and we we stick in that transactional type business model. And I have yet to meet anyone who wants to be there. Now, if that really is how your business works, congratulations. You are an anomaly to me. But so often the other thing I hear is, I just really want to build relationships. I am not a transactional coach. I am not a transactional service provider. My products are not destined to be, are not tailored to be transactional. This really is a lifestyle change. This is a relationship I want to build. And then your persona shows up as transactional. And it's not because you haven't put time into it, but I think it's because we create it and then there it is, and it becomes this static thing. We allow it to just hold still. Even while we have moved on, we are growing, we are progressing, we are evolving through our business, but we forgot to let our persona come with us. So how has your persona actually changed in the last 6 months? How is it coming through on your social media? How has it shifted? And can we tell? Can we tell how much you've changed? And I'm not saying you get on and woe is me, this is really, really rough, because we all get that. We all can sympathize with that. We can all empathize with that. But I'm wondering what you have discovered about yourself in the last 6 months, and how is that coming through? Here's a question for you. If I were to, if I had met you January 1st of this year, January 1st, even the 2nd, let's give it a day, 2020, and said, let me just tell you everything that's going to happen in the next 6 months. Let me forecast what 2020 is going to look like for you, for your community, for your tribe, for the world at large. Here's all the items. Your business is going to hit this roadblock. The world is going to shut down here. We are going to be in quarantine here. Schools may or may not be open here. And then truly just giving you like a really rough outline of what 2020 was going to look like for you. Would you have ever thought it possible to have come through it shining, moving forward like you are now? Would you have thought in that moment, oh yeah, I got that. Not a big deal. I can totally handle that. I know how to roll with those punches. I know how to pivot. Or would you have thought, oh crap, what do I do with that? And yet here you are. Here you are having weathered it. Here you are having pivoted till your toes couldn't pivot any further. Here you are changing and evolving. I listen to people, my clients in the League of Legends, I listen to people on networking events say, I've moved everything I had to online. Yay! Do you realize that 8 months ago, you may not have thought you could do that? That is awesome. Congratulate yourself. You should be celebrating that. You have figured out how to command a stage virtually and make that work for you instead of having to be in their face and be able to have that transition and move them through that live. You've been able to do that through a screen. Holy cow, that's amazing. Like, congratulations. You should be celebrating that. How has that changed you? And how are you showing up differently in your brand? How is your persona coming through differently? Maybe even a better question is, why would you want it to? Why would you want people to understand more about who you really were, more about who you really are, more about the way you truly run your business? Why does that matter? This is what sets you apart, my friend. The more your persona can come through. Grace, hello. Hello, my sweet friend. Oh my goodness. Yay. Hooray for moving is, let me just, I apologize. Let me just pause here. Let me just read this. You put everything in storage. You are focused way more on intimacy and sex. I wasn't going to talk about sex. That is not my area of expertise to talk about in public. But you're absolutely right in that you've been able to move it online and you've been able to make it more about a relationship. And I think that is huge. Congratulations, Grace. Congratulations on getting married, and congratulations on moving that all online and focusing truly on what matters, which is the relationships. How can you develop a deep and meaningful and awesome relationship with a client, with a partner, with a joint venture partner, with who I would say my ideal clients really do become partners with me in their success? How can you develop a relationship like that if your true self isn't coming through? If you are still hiding behind what you think is appropriate for your industry? If you are still playing at a 7 when your heart and soul screams to be at an 11? Your persona gets to evolve with you because you have changed. Your business has shifted. Your ideal client idea of who that is has probably grown in the last 6 months. I know mine has, because everything is different. And it's part of what I love about branding is it is a living, breathing thing that gets to grow with you and your business. So why would you want to share more? How do you handle, this is part of a legend response system, right? What do you do with the flaws? What do you do with your imperfections? What do you do when all of a sudden the sound cuts out, or your PowerPoint presentation fails, or you get Zoom bombed in the middle of a networking event? What do you do? How do you handle it? Do you let us see you lose your stuff? Do you lose your stuff? Or do you just calmly have a plan in place, a response system rather than a reaction system? Do you have a response to something like that? How do you react when somebody comes in and they ask to be connected, and within the second or third messaging, they're already pushing their stuff? How do you respond to that? Do you have a process in place that allows your personality to come through and in a very professional manner? Maybe it's not. Maybe it is just a, okay, get off my path. Like this is where normal people run, get off my path. I don't want to play anymore. Or do you have a way of taking that relationship and making it into something amazing or putting it on the sideline and letting them know that wasn't appropriate? Like, how do you respond to that? That is part of your legend response system and it is part of your persona. And if you want to be able to push past all the people, all the noise, all the 12.8 billion devices online, your persona must be loud with purpose. It must come out and say, I am ready to play. I am ready to play big. And if you are ready to play big, then we should absolutely play together. And if not, that's okay. No judgment. You're just on a different path. I will continue on my way. It will save you so much time. I know that my persona, I know that my brand, I know that I am not for everyone. I know that I am an acquired taste. I know that there are people who my energy does not connect with them, and that's okay. The more your personality comes through, the more your brand shares that with people right from the very beginning, the more they can self select in or out. It's like a sorter for your business without having to have all the funnels and all of the different things to help people do that. When your persona shows up at an 11 from the get go, you get to call in more of your favorite people, regardless of how they want to play with you, regardless of if they become clients or joint ventures or whatever. You get to call in your people faster. I will tell you right now, because we are so, everything is so virtual, and even as we open back up and are able to do some things online, maybe sort of probably in a year, whatever that is, however it is you are engaging with people, there may be a warm up period for you. There should never be a warm up period for your brand. Your brand shows up full right there. The second you walk in the room, it announces itself on whatever level you decided to do that, whatever way, if that's everybody stop what they're doing and look at me, if it is just here I am and notice, if it, whatever that is, it's at 100% the second you step in the room, regardless of when you show up. I know I have a tendency, if it's a new group, I will people watch. I love people watching. Anybody out there a people watcher? Even on Zoom, I'm very quiet. I stay muted and I just watch people show up. I watch their mannerisms as they get settled. I want to see what's in their background and see how it's branded or not. I look for those things before I ever announce that I'm there, before I ever actually engage. And that's part of my brand. But that shows up from day one. My personality and my relationship with people may have some warm up to it, but my brand shows up. Does yours? The key is in your persona. The key is in allowing that to evolve and grow with you. You get to invite people in more with your persona because the thing about your persona is it shows up before you even open your mouth. This goes so it is 10 steps ahead of your message because I mean your persona includes your message, but it is 10 steps ahead of you saying a word. Make it shine, make it 11, make it you, make it you. Let it evolve with you. Whether you decide to show the flaws or not, whether you record a Facebook Live 5 different times and delete it because it's not what you wanted and you were so worried about it that you wanted to try it and delete and try and delete and finally let one stay. I get it. Whatever that is for you, let us into your space at whatever point you decide you want it to share, but your persona gets to be current. It gets to show up before you do, and it gets to make sure that with your full brand capacity, we are singing your song long after you have left the stage, long after you have ended this Zoom meeting. Your persona continues. It continues to make an impact and continues to make an impression. So how has your persona changed in the last 6 months? And can I see that in your social media? Have you actually allowed it to update and evolve as you have? Because you're a quick mover. You are fast, you are moving, you are taking names and kicking butt. Your brand gets to keep up with you. I challenge you, look at your persona. Go back and look at your last 5 posts. Do they speak like you? Do they sound like you? They might have 6 months ago. If you're doing anything more than a 30-day calendar, Christy Hansvik, Simply Online, she will tell you the way you plan content is not the way it was 6 months ago. It doesn't work anymore. Make sure everything you put out sounds like you. It's the way we can feel connected. It's the way we feel like we know you. We never have to ask you, do I know you? We already know the answer. You showed up. Take a look at that. See what has changed and why it has changed. And make sure it's reflected in your brand. It's critical to your success. It is the way you create a legacy. Check on your persona. I can't wait to see it show up for realsies. And until then, rock on.